Chapter 7. Roman. After swinging my arm around Isabella's waist, I pulled her closer to me. Sunlight flooded in through the curtains, which were billowing open with the morning breeze. Agonizing howls rattled through the open window and filled our bedroom. I tensed and sat up in bed. Those howls weren't from wolves taking their daily runs. They were from being attacked. War. War was here already. Voices from my warriors buzzed through the mind link, getting jumbled together. I shot out of bed, letting Isabella turn over. When she heard the growls, she jumped up. "They're here already?" "Stay here," I said to her, not wanting her to put herself in harm's way. Kylo knew that if he took her from me, I'd be weak, and while I trusted Isabella, I didn't trust that prick anymore. His family had destroyed mine, and I wanted to destroy him for it. When my feet hit the forest ground, I shifted into my wolf and sprinted toward the battle, following the stench of blood. From the mere sound of paws and growling, there had to be at least 100 enemy wolves. Shit. Isabella followed after me despite me telling her not to. When we entered the battle, the stench of blood was even stronger. Wolves were ripping each other apart, digging their claws into flesh, latching onto shoulders and legs and paws with their teeth. Overcome with rage, I sprinted through the pack, trying to find Kylo. If he wanted to fight, he'd fight me one-on-one, not ruthlessly kill my packmates because he had something against me. "Roman," Isabella said, right on my ass. "Be careful. He's a wolf moon warrior." "Stay here." I couldn't keep Mom alive, but Isabella, I would give my life for her. All I wanted was to keep her safe. Nobody would ever lay their hands on her. Thank the moon goddess that Isabella actually obeyed me for once and stopped mid-forest, eyes glazing over. She must have been talking through her mind link to Raj. I hurried forward, searching for that piece of shit when Isabella screamed. I turned on my heel to see a huge gash in her shoulder. She shifted into her wolf and turned to kill the man when she stopped suddenly and stared at the towering alpha behind her attacker. Kylo. Kylo stared at her with so much ferocity, eyes with golden streaks, teeth with blood. He growled at his warrior who had hurt Isabella, watching him bow his head in submission and scurry away. Blind with rage, I leaped in Kylo's direction and sank my teeth into the side of his neck, dragging him to the ground before he had a chance to kill Isabella himself. Nobody would take my mate away from me, especially not a cruel alpha like him. Teeth bared at each other's necks, sharp claws swiping through the air. Two alphas who wanted to prove their dominance. And I'd defeat him this time. I wasn't the same naive, young boy he had once known. Blood poured from our open wounds. Kylo spit a chunk of my fur from his mouth, ran at me again, and latched his teeth into my other shoulder. I lunged my body to the side, wanting to thrust him off of me, yet something cracked. I howled and collapsed, my shoulder giving out. Kylo sank his teeth further into my flesh. I kicked back with my hind leg, colliding with his groin. He growled and went to rip more flesh out of me when someone knocked him off me. Isabella viciously threw him across the forest in the direction he had come from. Kylo immediately stood back up and growled, yet Isabella held her ground. I dug my claws into the ground, stumbling to my feet as I tried to get my shoulder bones to heal as quickly as they could. After giving her one last long look, he lifted his nose to the trees and howled. In an instant, he and his wolves stopped engaging in combat and ran back through the woods, retreating for some ungodly reason. He could have slaughtered every one of us, yet he hadn't. I shifted into my human and clutched my shoulder, embarrassed, furious, and upset. Everything for the past few years had been building up to this moment, and I had screwed it up because Kylo had gotten in my fucking head yesterday. When I found out that he had been alone with her, when he told Isabella that Scarlett was trying to snatch me away from her, when I let him watch me fuck her pretty little face to show him that she was not to be touched in any way, while he'd had multiple chances to end her life, he hadn't, which made me think that he was planning something much, much worse for her than an easy death. And there was one thing that was worse than a death in battle for a wolf born under the wolf moon. The wolf's flower. "Come on," Isabella said, nodding toward the direction of the hospital. When we arrived, nearly every room in the hospital was filled by warriors, getting their injuries treated. He hadn't even been here for 20 minutes, and he'd managed to hurt so many of our warriors. After Isabella's mother stitched up my shoulder, I stormed out of the hospital with Isabella on my heels again. "Listen to me, Roman," she said. "Don't be angry with me for interfering. Be thankful for me. He almost killed you. You don't have to be bold and dominant all the damn time. You can ask for help from your own mate." I growled and shook my head. That wasn't what this was about. You could have gotten hurt. Well, you would have died. I need to go talk to Kaden. I walked past her and toward my office. Maybe it was a bit too much. I didn't want Isabella to be in danger. Giving up my leadership, my natural instinct to protect my mate, was fucking hard. Dad hadn't protected Mom, and they'd both ended up buried 6 feet under. We needed a strategy that wouldn't put Isabella at risk, and I knew just the thing.
You've reached the end of this episode. Thanks for listening. To get up to 4 weeks additional uncensored content, subscribe to the podcast at reamstories.com/AmeliaRoseAudio. Due to content restrictions, explicit sex scenes will only be available through Ream. But if you'd like to continue listening to my free episodes, make sure to hit the follow button to receive updates.